I find there are a lot of parallels between doing bench work and cooking. You know, you can follow a recipe, you sort of have an aesthetic sense of, your gel looks good or your plate looks right. But you can't eat your gel, but you can eat what's on your plate.
During Tom Coffman's medical career, there have been plenty of successes on his plate. He has distinguished himself internationally as a nephrology researcher, particularly with the role of the kidney in hypertension and cardiovascular disease. He is an invited keynote speaker at major international meetings and leading academic institutions, and has led the foremost international organizations in nephrology.
His work really has uncovered pathways to develop novel treatments, so it really has been the basis of drug discovery and developing treatments for hypertension.
My fascination with the kidney really started in histology class in medical school, where I really thought the kidney is by far the coolest organ in the body. It has all these beautiful, elegant structures, great colors.
As chief of Duke's Division of Nephrology since 1997, he consistently has led the division to top 10 status in the country.
It's not only known for the excellence in science, but outstanding clinical care, and also a program that young trainees want to come to and train as nephrologists.
After undergraduate studies in natural sciences at the University of Pennsylvania and earning a medical degree from Ohio State, Dr. Coffman came to Duke in 1980 for residency and fellowship training in nephrology.
I was very attracted to Duke, obviously because of its international reputation, but also because it was known as a program where you really got to dive in and do a lot of patient care, and I've always been a learn by doing kind of person.
Except for a sabbatical year at UNC, where he worked in the lab of Nobel laureate Oliver Smithies, Dr. Coffman has spent his entire career at Duke, and in 2002 was named the James R. Clapp Distinguished Professor of Medicine.
It was great group of people around, smart, supportive, curious, creative, and very collegial. So as a young person, I could go to somebody like Bob Lefkowitz and ask him a question or ask him for a reagent, and he would gladly oblige.
Dr. Coffman is a gifted and committed mentor, having trained more than 30 fellows and postdocs who have gone on to hold leadership positions in academia. Says one of his mentees, Dr. Susan Gurley, the chief of the renal section of the Durham VA, his generosity, guidance, and open-door policy have been the most important factors in my career success.
He really, really believes in the importance of developing the next generation of physician scientists, and spends a tremendous amount of time and effort not only personally mentoring his trainees, but also advocating for them.
Looking back on my career and the things that I've done, I would say it's one of the things I'm most proud of.
In 2010, he became the founding director of the Duke Cardiovascular Research Center, bringing together basic and translational cardiovascular researchers to foster novel, multidisciplinary approaches to generating new discoveries in cardiovascular disease. That same year, he also became professor and director of the Cardiovascular and Metabolic Disorders Research Program at Duke's sister school in Singapore, recruiting internationally recognized faculty that now are bridging both campuses. He also serves as executive vice dean of the school.
You know, the atmosphere and the optimism and the growth in Asia right now is quite exciting. Singapore is a bustling, really interesting city. Food's great, and so it's been quite a fun place to be.
Among his greatest honors is being elected in 2007 as president of the American Society of Nephrology, the dominant society for nephrologists in the world. Another is having the Division of Nephrology awarded a National Institutes of Health O'Brien Kidney Research Center in 2012.
So O'Brien Centers really define the top academic programs in the country.
Dr. Coffman and his wife Judy have 3 sons and 1 grandson. In addition to cooking, another love of Dr. Coffman's is playing rhythm and blues guitar.
I was a child of the 60s and really got interested in guitar based on the first time I heard a Jimi Hendrix record.
I'd say he's like a strong 6.5, although I haven't heard him in a couple years, so he could have gotten better or worse.
Soon after arriving at Duke, he formed a band with other residents and came up with a rather curious name.
He named it Blast Crisis, which in medicine, that's usually not something we celebrate.
So blast crisis is a horrible hematologic disease.
Blast Crisis.
It's a really good band name. You know, I mean, there are good band names and bad band names. It was a good band name.